All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ho the Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRon. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. I got my man, Jay Babo. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just glad to be back on here with y'all. But if you haven't already, you want to make sure that you're following us and also subscribing to us on YouTube at Ho the Husband Podcast. All right, T.
I also got my man, SD, in the building. What's good, man?
I don't know, man. I had some chili a little while ago, so if I get up and run up out of here and leave it to y'all,
we know
y'all
why.
already know what's going on, all right?
We know the answer. We don't even have to ask.
I want to give a shout out, man, to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Ho the Husband Podcast on Cash App and PayPal.
I want to remind y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. We got a real interesting episode this week. Tonight's episode is titled Done Catching Feelings. And we're going to be talking about this pessimistic perspective women seem to develop after some dating failures. So we'll have a thorough discussion with about that. But y'all know how we do it around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen on our timelines or stuff that's gone viral. And I saw this first clip. It was from the Nah That's Crazy podcast, where one of the guys was talking about how he falls for hoes. Let's take a listen.
Like I said, liking hoes though. That's my problem.
No, like I said, it's hot.
I'll be honest with y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's something about me that make me want to love a hoe, bro.
Why?
It's a story behind it. They be people,
They be
bro.
wanna save them.
Hoes are human beings,
people.
bro. They're like, aside from when they hoeing,
Like you wanna,
like you get to know them. It's like, damn, you gotta. I ain't gonna lie. I fell in love with a hoe in high school. Like, bro, I swear,
Wait,
I took her from her boyfriend. And I heard she had a train written on her, everything, bro. Publicly, I had to, deny it. My heart, though, bro. My heart, bro. That girl was a good girl, bro. Like she loved me. I embraced her.
I'm jacking up. Oh man, he was being so authentic and transparent, man. That applies to a lot of dudes, though, bro. Man, because you're right. Just because a woman is promiscuous, it doesn't mean she's not a good person. It just means that most guys won't want her to be the woman he marries or has kids with. Like my fuck buddies that was promiscuous, man, we had some of the best relationships because I wasn't trying to get them to be faithful to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they could just exist and do their thing. But man, this hearing him explain his perspective, man, that tickled me for sure. What y'all think?
Man, I think that every man at some point in his life has been there, especially when they're younger. You know what I'm saying? And you first go to like a strip club or something like that. Right. And you get up in the strip club, and we probably not all, fell in love with a stripper. Y'all remember T-Pain? Like, I'm in love with a stripper. Like, that's real. When you first go to a strip club, man, you see these hit chicks, and they get all up on you, telling you all that good stuff. Like, oh, man, you so sexy. You got to give them a little money. But at every point, it's always a dude that be like, hey, you ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do this. I can get you up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because he catch feelings for a chick like that. But you learn real quick, man. So go ahead, Jake.
Yep. Yeah. Man, it sounds like a prototypical whole phase man here. But you know what? I'll tell you a quick stuff about. I wouldn't say fell in love with a stripper, but I'll tell you. In the military, you get married, you get the BH and everything, right? So, I met a chick, fine too. Now, we were trying to do that because we was going to get the New York City BH. At that time, it was almost 3,000. We're talking mid-2000s. Now, we never went through with this, but, at that time, I was like, hey, maybe we can work something out. Maybe it could be something more than just, one of those paper wives. Yeah, like as you say, I learned real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a male perspective, if you can stay in your lane, you good. You know what I mean? Because I've had, like I said, I had fuck buddies that we was kicking it for years. You know what I mean? But we was never arguing or nothing because I never wanted her to be my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
long as we can smoke and hang out and fuck or give each other head, I'm good. I'm cool with that. And a lot of dudes just can't set boundaries when it comes, because they're usually very attractive, big booties. There's a reason so many guys are trying to smash them. And some dudes, it's usually the ones that are not that successful women, that find themselves catching feelings or trying to turn it into something it's not.
So did you consider them hoes just because y'all was, friends with them or whatever?
No. They was hoes because they was getting ran through. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
okay, that's different. Because, that's different. That's different.
Yeah.
I think that what he's referring to is like the stripper thing. You know what I'm saying? Because every man do that.
Yeah.
Every man do that, man. Like, I remember, man, I fell in love with a stripper. I was like 25, 26. I got a number, man. And I mean, the first time we talked on the phone, she was like, you gonna send me some money? I was like, some money for what? She hung up on me like, click. That was the last time. I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Right? And it put it into perspective real quick. Like, these here chicks, and that don't mean she's a quote-unquote ho-ho, sleeping with a bunch of people, but in the community, in the world, whatever, in society, this is how strippers are looked at. So don't get it wrong. Right. All strippers ain't hoes. I'm just saying how men look at them. You know what I'm saying? And the man will fall in love with a chick like that. Right. And it's really a bad move, like, when you really think about it. For most dudes that fall in love with a stripper out, or not a stripper, but a quote-unquote hoe, because Tupac said it best. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You can try. And it
doesn't work out.
Some of them do try, but they normally fall on their face in the end. I mean, you do have some that'll creep through the cracks, but most
I know some that are married with kids and all this. Like, usually it's a guy that don't know the details about the past, and I guess in some instances, what you don't know won't hurt you, right?
Yeah, but you know what, fellas, there are a lot of those, hoes or promiscuous women, and some of them got some of the best pussy. I ain't even gonna hold you. And what happens is when some of these dudes' wife, they put a few of those tricks, and a lot of them just don't know how to handle that.
It's easy to get caught up, man. Plus they have one thing that I would say promiscuous women do have over other women is, we talk about it all the time, the skill set of dealing with the opposite sex. The women especially women that are strippers and all that, because they have to pursue men for money in the strip club and in those type of environments. So they develop some of the same behaviors like men do when it comes to approaching women and shooting their shot.
Yeah, but you got women like see, when you I think it hurts women the most when they are proud hoes and men know. Like, if you could keep it under wraps and men don't know, that's why women lie about that. That's why women lie about their body counts, right? Come on, we're not stupid. That's why women lie about their body counts, because they know that most men won't take them serious. And that's not even just a thing that men say. We know it for a fact. If you look at psychologist studies from the Institute of Family Services, the psychologists have done studies and sociologists have done studies that say, hey, a woman with more 6 to 10 bodies has the lowest rate of marital happiness and the highest chance for divorce. Wow. Those are proven facts. And it also says that the men, they have a dip also after they get a lot of bodies. But in the articles, it says it never gets as low as it gets for women, as far as marital happiness and wanting and filing for divorce. Because women process certain things differently when it comes to sex. So that's why a lot of men, and not only that, but if you wife a hoe, a quote unquote hoe that's been out here running around, bro, you don't know whose baby this might be. It's 30% of all the men paying child support out here. 30% are paying child support for kids that aren't theirs, that are not theirs. That's a huge
That's
number
insane.
that these men don't know that these kids ain't theirs or something like that, or that some of them actually being forced to pay for kids.
But that's the thing. The women like that may be toxic. Like you gonna have the suckers that are suckers for love. Like remember Rob Kardashian trying to wipe up Black China. You know what I'm saying? Like you always have that situation where you got the late bloomer, the dude that just became popular all of a sudden, didn't have chicks in high school, chicks wasn't checking them for him like that, etc. They fall for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy for a very exciting sexual situation to feel like love, especially in the beginning.
It's the mental. See, the guys that don't know a lot of time, it be the mental part, man, that really get them. Look at the proud hoes online right now. You got Amber Rose, you got Superhead, you got Brittany Griner, you got all these here chicks here that's online crying. He's being using me. They all these years you've been out here proud hoes. That stuff affects them mentally, bro. It does because they don't do things like us because they different. They women. So that's why when you say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, it's proven through studies, and it's proven with the way that the divorce rates and different things go right now out here in the United States. Like a man would be a fool to get with a woman and put his last name to a woman that he know is a hoe. He'd be a fool. That's why it's important to really vet the woman that you're dealing with and try to, understand her past or whatever, because you gotta tell a hoe. You can tell a hoe because they argue for hoes.
But you know what's interesting? Whenever we have this conversation on my page, women will try to make it seem like men force them to choose to be with promiscuous men. Like women don't have a choice in the matter. Like they'll say stuff like, well, men won't wife a hoe, but they'll expect a woman to wife them. Like, not necessarily. Yeah. We know that there are women that'll say, I don't want to date a man that was a former hoe or a successful woman. But for the most part, those are really the men that women are attracted to. There's a reason he was able to become a hoe. He had to have a certain skill set in order to make several women want to desire him like that. If he's not famous or rich, etc. But online, women will try to make it seem like people force them to be with men that they don't want to be with. It's like, nah, it don't work.
They got 10 dudes in their friend zone that wear Skechers. They got 10 dudes in their friend zone that wear Skechers, but they forced to be with the guy that buy Jordans every time they come out. Cut it out.
They want to be with Mr. Swag.
That's what it is.
All right, man, let's keep things rolling, man. This next post, this was a post from the mid 80s. It was, I think this was on 60 Minutes, or I can't remember exactly where the clip came from. But it shows that the beginning stages of the single parent epidemic that we're experiencing these days. Let's take a listen.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
In America, I think this mindset and this perspective that women have towards men is a direct result of slavery. One of the main things, or the very first steps in implementing slavery, was buck breaking and shifting the way that Black women view Black men. Historically, men are viewed as protectors and providers. And when they broke the biggest, strongest slaves on the plantation, visually, it showed women that those men were not in a position to be able to protect her from the white man. And so this absentee, the black man not in the household, and we can live without him. I think that was the seed that was planted to develop this mindset that we have today.
Me personally, I think that what's crazy is a lot of what you're hearing in that video from the 80s is the same things that we hear now in some cases, right? But I want to say this, that regardless, like we see these videos and different things, and we hear different things out here, right? But regardless of all of that, black men are still the most active fathers in and out of the household. Right now, we talking about outside of the household, which means they're not married, the babies are out of wedlock per the CDC and the Department of Health. Black men are by far the best fathers that are involved with their kids out of all races in the United States. So I just want to say that. And then that, a lot of these here single babies are being made by the same men. We know this to be true. We got Future with 10 kids. We got Nick Cannon with 12. We got Chief Keef with 10. Lil Durk with 10 or whatever. NBA Youngboy with 10. A lot of the same men are making a lot of the babies because 54% of black men don't have kids. 54%. And 35% are married. That's 89% of black men that either don't have kids or got their kids in their home. 3% of black men had kids outside of the home. So you only got 11 to 14% of the men out here making the majority of the out of wedlock babies out here. And that shows true through the people that I just named and all of the kids that they have. And I can't talk too much because I'm a part of it. But I'm also there and an active father also who's there. So I think that it has a lot to do with a lot of different things, man. Yes, slavery was a part of it. Then you had the crack epidemic and getting the public assistance and the only way the women could get the welfare system. The only way women could get it was to get the man out of the house. If they had a man in the house, they wouldn't give it to him.
Ineligible. Right.
And on the flip side, they wouldn't give the black men jobs to be able to support their family. So the women kind of had no choice, at that particular point. Right now, we have a choice. We got a lot of choice in what we do as far as making babies. You know what I'm saying? And giving them the best structure possible for a family, because the statistics tell us that the worst position for a kid to be in is with a mom with no dad, a single mom.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
No shit, and that's not throwing shade. It's not disrespecting single women or anything like that.
It's the truth.
Well, these are the facts.
And sometimes the truth is uncomfortable and it hurts, but it still don't change the fact that it's true. That per the studies that they say, a single father with a kid has the same results as a two-parent household, whereas a single mom household gives the worst results for in jail men, kids in jail, dropouts, suicide, abuse, domestic violence, all of these here different things.
All the negative.
Are highly, I'm talking about over 70, 80% produced by single moms. So I just want to say that, having a father in the home is essential, because in the video, the young lady said, I don't need no help from no man. I think I could do it. A male figure really isn't that important. Yes, it is.
Underestimated for sure. Yeah. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how this is from almost 40 years ago, and this is still relevant in today's day and age, and in 2023 here, and they push this dysfunction for years that, hey, you don't need a man for nothing, because this stuff only really started in the 60s after they passed the Civil Rights Act. And what happened was there was a lot of women that took government housing then, hey, you can move into this government housing, we'll give you food stamps, healthcare, we'll give you everything, you just can't have a man. And that was the catch-22 there. So they thought, okay, well, this is living. This was unfortunate. And to talk to Steve's point, all those statistics, for those who don't know, you can verify all that on blackdemographics.com. I know the late Kevin Samuels used to reference it a lot when he said these stats.
Yeah, I mean, I wish more men took fatherhood seriously, because I remember
No doubt.
seeing statistics like this in school and talking about the difference in your income with a degree, without a degree, or a trade. Like all that stuff I paid attention to because I grew up poor. You know what I mean? Like, so when you in poverty, I'm thinking of a way that I can get out of poverty without having to sell drugs and risk my life. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't willing to go that extreme.
Right.
But the goal of having a family, having a nice crib, and being able to live comfortable, that was a goal, man. That's the direct for me. It was a direct result of the Cosby Show and my
Yep.
rich aunt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Seeing the wealthy family members always inspired me.
How was that experience? You know, you say growing up poor and then you were able to see that. How was that experience?
It motivated me. You know what I mean? Like, well, it was my grandmother's sister. Her and her husband had a nice crib. You know, like designer stuff. All their kids had the latest. So I was just in awe every time I came around. And that's just kind of who I patterned my fatherhood, or how I ran my household after.
Wow. You know, because most people don't get to see both ends of the spectrum there. You know, when most people grow up poor and grow up in poverty, they don't get to see the other side of it. Poverty is all they know.
Well, they wasn't rich. I take that back. They wasn't rich.
Well off.
They were middle class. Yeah.
Okay.
They were pretty much living a lifestyle I live now. I'm definitely not rich.
Gotcha.
But from my perspective, they were rich. They kids had the latest shoes. They had Nintendo. They had several games. You know what I'm saying? Like they just had they had new cars. They just had all the stuff to me that made a person look like they was wealthy.
I ain't know nobody like that growing up. I didn't know nobody like that. We all was broke. Everybody's mama was broke. Everybody's daddy was broke. Everybody was broke. And that's just what it was, man. So, you know, my father put me on the right track. He said, "Hey, man, you want to make good money and live where you want to live. Hey, do this, do that. You know, you can live nice. You ain't gotta live like me. Don't have no babies. That messed up. You know, I had."
And SD, to be clear, you grew up in the project in Chicago, correct?
I started out in the project, and we moved to what's called the Wild Hundreds of Chicago. My parents still live there, so we went from the project to the Wild Hundreds, and yeah, it's still wild. I put it like that. So, you know, that's just what it was. That's all I really knew. And once I started making money, I came on out to the suburbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting shot once was enough for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
But this was a plan. This was a plan by the government, bro. Like, it is what it is. Because at the same time, they were giving black women welfare and telling them there couldn't be a man in the house. They were giving white families government grants to farm and have land and all that.
Have a house.
But and houses. And their man could be in the house. Their man didn't have to leave the house. You know what I'm saying? Like the GI Bill and different things that they gave those men when they came home from the war. Then they gave all these white men at that particular time, wasn't no women in the military, but they gave all the white men these here government grants and different things for property.
Put them on.
Yeah, and they told the black soldiers that they couldn't get it. I think only some like 3% of them got the government grants. It was a very low.
That sounds about right. It was the one thing, especially the ones that came home from World War II. You know, they couldn't get.
Look, I mean, dead presidents showed how they did the soldiers.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is, man. It's all a plan, bro. So
yeah, so hopefully women these days will see the importance of having a man, because I can assure you, having a man that got a solid job or a career that's focused on fatherhood, your lifestyle is going to be exponentially better than being a single mom, especially a single mom with multiple children. Even a woman that's making decent money, money can't replace a man. You know, you can buy your stuff, you can buy your son, he can dress nice, he can be a gentleman. But we see a lot of feminine men, a lot of tender, weak men that are a result of being raised around women without having a male to be able to guide them and mold them and how they supposed to be molded. And
just to take your points home real quick, there's a thing that just came out saying black women have the highest eviction rate out of anybody else, single black women. And that's not to, poke fun at it or anything, but just to say that this situation is real here. So yeah, and we gotta get serious about this stuff.
Absolutely. All right, man. Looks like we are up against the clock. We're about to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to be getting into our topic of the night. Tonight, we're going to be talking about being done catching feelings. Y'all are tuned in to the Hold Husband podcast, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Hold Husband podcast. We got our guests on for the night. We got my girl, Kira J. How you doing, Kira?
Hey, y'all. Excited to be here to give my feedback.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. You long-time friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Before we get into the conversation, Kira, can you let everybody know a little bit about you, your background, and so they can see where you're coming from?
So my name is Kira J. I am formerly known as the professional male basher, but I retired that title last year. Poet. I'm an author. I'm just an all-around shit talker. Whatever the topic is, I'm down to lay my finger on it.
All right, well, yeah, so tonight's topic is done catching feelings. So we wanted to get the perspective of women that have not been getting the dating results that they want, or have had some negative experiences that they are motivated by with their perspectives on dating. The first thing that I wanted to ask you is, since you've been blowing up on social media and all that, how has being successful and being an influencer and all that impacted your dating life?
So in my previous relationships, I had a large problem with privacy because for some reason I kept being drawn to men who are super private, like barely even on social media. And I'm like super public. I tell every little detail of my life. So I think that was the most way that it hindered me in the past of saying a little bit too much on Twitter or giving a little bit too much information in an essay or a poem or whatever. But things are different now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can see that as a problem because even if a person is on social media, like nobody wants, that's I think the biggest problem with reality TV. Like if you having a romantic relationship and then you got the public opinion to deal with it, that's always going to cause turmoil and confusion. And I think in any relationship, no matter what your celebrity, what level you reach.
So
Cool, fellas.
was it like, hold on, real quick, like, so was it like, y'all would get into an argument and then you'd go to Twitter and be like this?
We go at it, and then we go to sleep, and then you wake up and a million people have seen what you did.
Wow.
Oh man,
Can you give us an example of one? Like of one that happened?
So recently I posted on Christmas how I bought my ex a PS5 and he didn't get me anything for Christmas. And I was like, I took a flight and I took a flight to Atlanta to get it. I brought it back to New York so he could have it in time, and he got me absolutely nothing. And I went to bed and I woke up, it was on every blog.
Oh, y'all got together when you posted it though.
And he was like, why? Like, why do you do this?
Oh, I couldn't deal with it.
I was sorry, I didn't know that it would go that viral. I didn't think it was that.
No way.
What you mean? I gotta call Captain. You knew it. Yeah, you got putting this man on blast on Twitter to your followers is gonna have that man viral or trending in the morning.
No, that one went crazier than any other tweet I've ever posted.
Really?
Because it's a time where like I can post 20 tweets and they all do well, but it's always that 4 in the morning opinion that goes viral. So that was like a 4 a.m. nobody's online, Kara rambling tweet. And I went to bed and I woke up, it was on every blog. And I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have said.
Do you think anything is wrong with that?
Oh, it depends. So in my relationship now, I just do the check-in on, hey, can I say this? Hey, can I post that? And if it's cool, it's cool. If it's not, it's not. I think it's something wrong when you don't give people a heads up that you're using them for content. You know what I mean? Because it's an invasion of their privacy.
Yeah. My wife, we definitely can't do all that. I mean, that's one of the things that I struggled with once I got popular on social media and whatnot, is I'm private. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to story where I'm at and show people everything I'm doing. I try to do it now. But just in general, I don't like that. Like, when I see, I'm like, man, why are they doing that? Why do you want everybody in their business like that? But see, I get the negative side of the relationship discussion. Women hate me and I hate women and all this type of stuff. So my wife couldn't deal with all that type of drama.
I couldn't. If I had a woman that did that, I'd break up with her. Man, you only gonna get 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I'm a writer. So it's not just, oh, something happened with us and I ran to Twitter. All of my tweets are pieces of my books. It's like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, where she's writing columns about who she's dating. Everything is anonymous. I've never had a man's name or face on my social media. It's just scenarios and circumstances because I am an author. So in my case, it's not just, oh, why she always tweeting our business? It's like, this is all part of a book. You knew I was a writer when you met me, type shit.
Yeah, but they probably didn't know they were going to be a part of the book. And
I did my book since I was a teenager. My first book was 15 years old. You'd have to know. That's not a secret coming into this, you know?
Yeah, but if he dating you, you've been writing since you was 15. Like, he ain't going back to read. I'm not going to read your book to see what you've been talking about people since you was 15.
If you get in a relationship with Drake and get mad that you get put in a song, that's your fault for not finding out who Drake was. I am the Drake of poetry. You will be a piece of my art.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair, because you're right, yo. That's what I think that would be a big problem, because if he's doing that to you, you're not gonna have a problem if he's telling you, like, y'all having a real issue or you have a real problem with something, and he gonna tell all his followers.
Well, I wouldn't date a guy that wouldn't come check with me first. Like I said, in my relationship now, everything handles in-house first. So instead of it being on the timeline live as it's happening, I'm able to handle it in-house, come up with solutions, and then go and tell my following, hey, this is how you can handle that problem, or this is how you can resolve that, as opposed to, live play-by-play.
Got the buffer. Okay.
Right.
As long as that's y'all thing, like, that's cool. That y'all can come together and you can go talk to him and stuff like that. I'm talking about more of the just doing it. And then he waking up like, what in the world is going on here? Like,
with a viral tweet and all that.
Yeah, I wouldn't give the okay for it either way, but that's just me. But everybody's relationships and stuff is different. So I get it. He's comfortable and he's okay with that. So that rocks with y'all. That's cool that y'all do it like that.
So, Kira, I wanted to ask you, in your words, what would you say is the difference between a woman wanting a man and needing a man?
First, I'd like to say that everybody needs men. You may not need men romantically, but you need men in their capacity. But I would say the difference is where that desire for the man is coming from, right? So if you need a man, it's like you don't have something figured out within yourself that you're looking for that man to complete. But if you want a man, it's like, okay, I have all of these things handled, but I would still like you to come and add to it. Just a little bit of a, where is this coming from? Mm-hmm. Where are you pursuing this man from? Where are you seeking this man from? You can be trying to find a man from a void, from loneliness, from sadness, from financial struggles, or you could have all of that figured out and just want the company, just want the guidance, just want the logic and the protection.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, men are needed, like you said. But in this dating world right now, you have a lot of women that boldly and proudly and boastfully say that I don't need a man. I don't need him. But if for some reason they still pursue me and want men to pursue them for serious relationships and marriage, like, you know, to me, only a fool would pursue a woman that keeps telling you she don't need you.
I think
that's just me.
Says they don't need a man has never had a man. Because if you've never had to experience it, you won't know how much you need it. It's equivalent to people who say fathers are not that important because they didn't grow up with one and they think they're okay. Versus someone who knows the importance of having a father and grew up with a father can never utter the words that you don't need a father. Anything that you've never had, you're going to psych yourself out into believing that you don't need it because you feel like you can't have it. So a lot of women struggle with saying they need men because they've never had a good one.
Yeah, I believe that. And do you think society play a huge role in that also? Society, social media, music, TV, I think that play a pivotal role in how the women think about not needing a man or even saying that they need him.
All of it plays a role, for sure. I think that this is going to be controversial, but the biggest pressure of it is feminism. More so than TV, more so than music and all of that. This movement that thinks that equality means erasure, right? It means like, if I'm equal to you, then I don't need you because I can do this by myself. So that's where I think that most of the problem comes in that I don't need a man conversation. The minute you say you need a man, you'll get attacked by women more than you'll get attacked by men.
Absolutely. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
You get called to pick me.
Yeah, that's crazy. But a lot of it really come from our community. I ain't never really seen none of these, you know, a lot of the other women attack each other or call them pygmies for saying that they need a man or a husband or whatever it takes. I've never really personally seen it, you know, on the scale that I see it in our community and with our people. So, I mean, it's definitely there, front and center all the time. So,
yeah.
No doubt.
So why do you think so many women
love issues, and then there are things that are black love issues?
Say that again.
I said there's a lot of things that are love issues, and then there are a lot of things that are just black love issues. We are the only community that has had a government plan in place to destroy our love. So of course, other people might have it easier.
We were just talking about that.
Because the FBI ain't never set out to destroy their bond.
Yeah.
Our love is so powerful that the government tried to destroy it. So basically, we're just trying to unlearn a lot of the damage right now.
True. That's a good point. I never really thought about it. But why do you think so many women confuse sexual attention with men actually wanting to be in a relationship with them? So sexual attention versus relationship attention. Why do you think so many women confuse that?
Because men don't, in my opinion, men aren't always straightforward with only wanting sex. They will present the romantic head to get the physical action. So if you're coming to me under the guise of I'm interested in you, I want to take you out, I want flowers, I want this and I want that, instead of just saying I want to sleep with you, I'm going to assume that you want my quality time, you want my attention, you want my space. There's a different way that I approach a man that I'm interested in than I would approach a man that I'm sexually interested in. Because I'm just very straightforward.
But it's going to be somewhere in the middle, ain't it? Because from a male perspective, a guy shooting his shot or getting your number, obviously he's physically attracted to you and he wants to learn more about you. And doing things to get that feeling to be reciprocated is taking you out to eat dinner, calling you, etc. But he's not going to know if he wants to be in a relationship with you for a while. He's going to have to observe you and see how you move and do different things. So I don't think it's like a lot of women will say, well, if he would have just said he just wanted sex, well, he didn't just want sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't just want that.
Only wanting sex initially or trying to see where it can go and changing your mind. That's not the same thing as saying that you pursued me for a sexual interest. Because there's a different thing between a guy who sees a woman and he knows, I don't want to date her, I want to sleep with her, versus, I want to see what this is about, right or wrong.
It's the same, really. Well, to me, that's the same. What about y'all?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't a man want to sleep with a woman regardless if he wants that or not? Regardless if he quote unquote just wants sex or wants to pursue a relationship. I think he wants sex out of it regardless. Don't you think?
No, but the question was, why do women confuse the two? Why do women confuse sexual attention with the desire to be with us?
Well, I guess that question is because like the women that are thirst trapping on social media in her panties, in her thong, showing her crotch. Why does this woman make it seem like she has so many men that want to marry her or be with her when all those men clearly just want to smash? That's
I don't know. In this generation, I don't know if you're paying attention, but them girls is getting wifed up real quick.
Who?
Really?
Where they
in
at?
The process,
Who?
Listen, in the millennial generation, a lot of these women that are the eye candy on social media are getting wifed up.
Name me 10.
So we can't just assume that all the men that's in your DMs want to smash. There's a lot of men who would love to take her home and keep them for herself.
Name me.
I mean, celebrities maybe.
It's way more booty models and OnlyFans models that are single than it is that's married. Way more.
You think so? I know a lot of porn stars that are wives.
Okay, how many? Give me a number.
I know more booty models and porn stars that are getting wiped up than the good wholesome women.
You know them.
What?
Give me a number of. Hold on. Give me a number of how many you know that you know. Give me a number.
I don't know like an exact number, but I will say every sexually provocative woman I know is in a relationship.
A ballpark. Give me a ballpark.
But do you have a ballpark figure?
No, I don't know the stats. So
let's say 30.
Yeah.
30 is a lot.
Sure.
Okay, 30. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. It's 168 million women out here in the United States. We talking about 30 as being all of these here hoes. Well, not hoes, provocative women getting wiped up. Come on now.
Can I ask you a question? Are you married?
I'm not.
Terry, you're married, right?
Yeah, I'm the only one married.
Okay, so you're not married, but are you in the dating pool? Like, are you actively dating?
I'm dating, I guess you can say.
What's the age range? What's the age range of the women you dating?
That I would date 28 to 40. 28 30 to 40.
There's the number of these girls with her crotch out, that's like 22 to 28. Because once women hit 30, you either hit that wall and go and try to get cuffed up, or you just like not trying to be outside like that. So these girls that you're looking at with the booty models probably ain't looking to get wife right now anyway.
So now they're not looking to get married.
Well, I mean, just look, the Amber Rose, I don't want to date, or I want to be, what she say? I don't want to date, I want to be single forever. That's usually the perspective that a woman that has had epic fails in her dating life. But I call cap on that. And I wanted to ask you that when women say stuff like that, I want to be single forever, I don't want to ever date. Do you think that they're just venting about how they feel at the moment, or that they genuinely don't want the benefits that come from dating men?
No, I think that in her particular case, she's had one extremely public boyfriend that she broke up with. Then she had a marriage that broke up, and then she moved on to the father of her second child, and that broke up as well. So it's kind of just like a defeat for her. I feel like it's like, I don't want to try this again. I don't know if it's a matter of all of her dating experiences. I think it's just the relationships that she took serious. Because if you examine women like that, as much as they are desired all over the world, they don't be all over the world. It's not a whole industry of people that can say they ran through her. Feel me? It's like I kept consistently giving bulks of my years to people when it didn't work out with. Anybody would be defeated from that, man or woman. Whereas if you're talking about somebody who's ran through, no disrespect to a promiscuous woman, if you're ran through and you're saying that, then that's kind of just like a matter of, I'm done. This isn't working out for me. You know, I've done all of this and I've gotten nowhere.
From a male perspective, Amber Rose is ran through. She's a former
Amber Rose was a wife for the.
I mean, just because a woman's a wife for a couple. I mean, I understand
had 3 public relationships. How is she ran through?
But Terry, she was a stripper first. and then calls herself a proud slut and hoe.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's a slut walk chairman.
If that ain't somebody, if that don't constitute as somebody that we can say has been ran through, I don't know what either.
You can't call somebody ran through unless you call them on multiple people's arms, right?
I can call them whatever I want.
Amber Rose, the whole premise of her proud slut and hoe walk was a parody on sexual abuse victims being slut shamed to not come and confess. That's the entire premise of the whole slut walk. It wasn't like, woohoo, I'm a slut. If you look into the whole movement, it was for sexual abuse victims.
So right now,
they needed to update marketing.
Hold on. Yeah. So right now, her offering to eat man butt on social media right now, is that something that a wife would do, or a woman that's a slut or a hoe?
That was 110% trolling.
That's 110% trolling. Now,
come on, did you seriously think she said
trolling?
You don't know what trolling is?
Yeah, I don't care. It don't matter. But that's something that hoes say.
That ain't a good look.
Something that wifey women say. They don't run
She's
around
not a
with
wifey right
out
now.
on social media. She never was.
She was.
Yeah, Wiz. See, when men look at that as Wiz fucked up. Wiz fucked up and wife Amber Rose. We don't look at it as like Amber Rose is wife material.
This is the problem. This is the problem when we have these discussions on wifey material. Wifey material pertains to whatever you look for in your wife. So a woman that might not be wifey material to you means that she's not wifey material to you. There are men out here who will wife a woman regardless of what it looks like to you. That's like, for me, what's husband material for me and what I might look for might not be husband material to the next woman. So this whole label of that's not what a wifey would do. No, that's not what your wifey would do, because you would never wife her. But somebody took out to her and made her a wife. She was a wife.
Well, see, when I use the term
uniform of behavior for what it means to be a wife, because
there's not a uniform, but there are patterns of behavior that are conducive to a long-term healthy relationship, and behaviors and mentalities that are not. And so the Amber Rose's mentality, and based off what we've seen, I don't think that she has the mentality for a long-term healthy relationship. And that would explain her track record of the epic failed relationships. And like I said, I think Wiz realized he made the mistake from wifing her up when he shouldn't have. And we just had a conversation about guys that get caught up in catch feelings for hoes. So that was my perspective on that. I don't think her mentality makes her wife material, at least not giving her a probability of having much long-term success.
But what I'm saying is
most of our relationships didn't end because of her, though. They end because it's like, you know how, Terry, you always say, when we talking about quality men versus fuckboys, you can't expect to get quality man advice and apply it to the fuckboy. If Amber is specifically looking for men who are not ready with their single phase, and then you get with these men and you try to force them in relationships and they cheat on you, that's their fault, and it's your fault for continuously picking men who aren't finished being single. Her relationships have all ended from her being cheated on. No matter how freaky you are, if a man does not want to be committed, that's it. She caught Wiz Khalifa having a threesome that she wasn't even invited to. So that's not because of the way she thought.
That's because right. I was gonna say women like her pursue fame, money, and status. So that's what you gonna get. You wanna fuck with the millionaire rapper that got hoes in every city. That's what type of consequences that are gonna come with it. But I would say it was worth it. She's rich now. She's a household name, and even though that's monetizable at the very least, so she's gonna be straight. And like you said, there's always gonna be men that want to be with her, even though that might be detrimental to their
reputation.
Their
reputation and how they viewed by men.
Yeah.
But the majority of men will not want to wife her. We can make distinctions like that as people. The same way we can make distinctions about men and saying, hey, a dude that hangs out at the strip club all the time throwing money, the majority of women ain't going to marry a guy like that. we can make distinctions like that and be on point, because most people won't. Are there some people that will? Are there some fools out there that will marry that's a quote unquote hoe? Of course there is. But a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, those types of women don't like them type of dudes most of the time. So yes, she's gonna have trouble finding a dude because of her reputation that she has put out there. Not nobody else. This is her doing. So you gotta lay in the bed that you make. That's all.
No doubt.
Lay in the bed that you make and don't complain about it at the end.
Here. So out of your followers and the women that listen to you and what you've learned over the years, what would you say is the best advice that you could give to women to try to improve their dating situations going forward?
Really take the time away from dating to focus on the things that you have to work on. Because if you continuously get into relationships, the dating pool, with all these things that you need to fix, then you're just going to continuously repeat your dating experiences. Relationships for me become successful until I stopped having relationships. Until I said, okay, this is what keeps happening. Take the pause off of it, do the work, unpack, heal, be accountable, and then you start dating again. I think that men and women continuously.
How long did that take you?
Themselves to do.
How long did that period take you?
So for the first time, I took a break for 7 months, and then I thought I was ready to start again, and then ran into some guys that was like, "Oh no, this ain't gonna work," and then it took me like another 8 months after that.
Wow. In that time frame, you weren't like you had nobody on the side that you was like messing with, like sleeping with.
No sex, nothing.
No, and then it's crazy because I'm an extremely sexual person, right? But it's also like when you get to a certain point in your life, you have to be clear on what you want. If you just want sex, then go have sex. But if you actually want healthy relationships, if you want a companion, if you want a long-term relationship, then it can't just be about how much fun we about to have. So no, I didn't have sex. I didn't go on dates. I didn't even text guys or nothing. I was just focus on what work Kara has to do to move forward and have something healthy.
Gotcha. Right.
And
Kira,
I think
does being a successful Kira, does being a successful entrepreneur author make dating more difficult for you?
Not really. I would say because I am successful, it allows me more time to have for a man when I have one. So there's a lot, I think because I make my own schedule as well, like I'm almost never stressed. I wake up whenever I feel like it. I take trips whenever I want. So it puts me in a position to be at ease for my man. As hard as I'm working, I am almost always relaxed. So he doesn't have to come home to the woman who just got off a shift with the boss that was pissing her off, and I'm aggy and he's aggy from his job. It's like when he comes home from his job, I could already have the dinner ready and just make everything calm and peaceful. I think being a successful entrepreneur makes it to where I can be a better partner. Because I have more time to be eased, you know?
That's what's up. That's interesting that you said that, because I always thought that the more successful women got, it seems like that makes them more pickier when it comes to men. And a lot of times that draws out the masculine energy of those women. So for you to hear you saying that it kind of puts you in the opposite by giving you the time and freedom and all that, that's great.
When I have discussions with other women, I am definitely a unicorn in the sense that almost nobody agrees with me. I don't date for status or anything like that. I 100% focus on the character of the man. So that puts me in a place of I don't have to be concerned with how much money you're making. I don't have to be concerned with what you want to do in this field or that field. Are you a good person? Are you a safe person? Like I get to ask those questions because I have my own money. I don't have to worry about what type of provider I'm aligning with because I have my own money. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get to weed out all of the types that are like, oh, I make $650 to bow down to me. I can go and find a nice man. If he's a nice man making less, making more, it doesn't matter to me because I have the luxury to not have to worry
That's
about
smart.
how much money you're making. And then the other women that I meet that are making my type of money, they're like, yeah, well, we still need a provider. And, you know, and I said, if you focus on how much money or how much a man can bring to the table, then you're going to be weeding yourself out of all of the men that are not in your tax bracket. There's so many nice guys that might never touch as much money as me. If I drop a book and I make $40,000 on the book that month, realistically speaking, am I gonna go in the dating pool and go, how much money did you make this month? Like, you need to match my energy. Like, come on, no. Are you a nice person? I get to focus on that. I get to focus on if I'm dating nice men.
That's what's up. It looks like we up against the clock, Kira. Before we get up out of here, I wanted to give you an opportunity to let the audience know where they can find your books and your other content before we get up out of here.
You can find me on social media at All Things Kara J. My website as well. All of my books are available at allthingskaraj.com. You can watch my poetry, my movie, everything that I got going on.
All right. Before we get up out of here, man, again, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. We definitely appreciate the love. I want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue to support the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up with me so we can get the episode knocked out. This has been another episode of the Hold Husband Podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Thanks for joining.